I am your healing host, El-Dumarè Asar, and I would love to welcome you all to Chombo Unplugged. Welcome to Chombo Unplugged. We as chosen ones stay connected. I am your higher consciousness. I am your higher self. I am the healed version of you. Now today I'm going to talk about the Hellenization of Egypt. Basically, who the hell were the Egyptians before Hellenization, aka colonization by the Greeks? Let me first off by saying that the modern day Egyptians aren't the original Egyptians. And first off, ancient Egyptians is not even a word because Egyptians isn't quite ancient, as Egypt is not even its original name. That is the Greek name. It is Kemet, so it would be the ancient Kemites or Kemetics. So the ancient Egyptians is when the colonization came into the play from the Greeks. The ancient Kemets or Kemetics are the original Egyptians. You get what I'm saying? Like I said, the modern day Egyptians aren't the original Egyptians. And if you look at the hieroglyphs in Egypt, right, you will see that these are dark-skinned people. People literally, my complexion, you can be light-skinned, from my complexion to light-skinned to darker than me. So, but throughout time, the complexion of the people just kept brightening up. But why is that though? Colonization is the easy answer, right? But here's the details. It's like the way that the world makes like Egypt is not a part of Africa. That's the exact part of the whitewashing programming, right? And let's talk about movies like Gods of Egypt. That just make me like mad. Like that's the epitome of whitewashing, and it has all white actors, like except for Chadwick Boseman as Thoth, Jehudi. So, but this movie is just like the Hellenization of Egypt, man. There wasn't no gods of Egypt. That was the gods of Rome. That was Roman Egypt, period. Not the African black Egypt. So now, what is the Hellenization of Egypt? Hellenization is the adoption of Greek culture, religion, language, identity by non-Greeks, right? In the ancient period, colonization often led to the Hellenization of the indigenous peoples. In the Hellenistic period, many of the territories which were conquered by Alexander the Great. So he's a part of that Hellenization, Alexander the Great. So who are the gods of Egypt? Let's show some people from the movie right now. Not this motherfucker. Not this motherfucker. That's Osiris? That's Isis? That's Nephthys? That's Sun God Ra. Children of the sun, melanated people who's UV ray protected, but this white man is a child of the sun. Okay, when you are not UV ray protected, all right, definitely not this motherfucker. Like, look at this, man. This is crazy. Let me talk about basically school in North America, public school in North America, man. It's like, if you notice, of all the popular stories that were taught to us in school, were basically all European, right? It was whitewashed. When history talks about the greatest poets and philosophers, they only mention the Greeks and Italians. Literally, only. You only know these people's names. But who were the master teachers of these Greeks that are praised in society so much? Who do you think? Your favorite Greek philosophers and mathematicians all studied at universities in Egypt. Kemet, all of them. Then went back home to preach their new profound knowledge that they learned from these Africans. The Egyptian fathers of medicine, mathematics, philosophy, all like spawns were the Western fathers of medicine, mathematics, and philosophy. Like they are spawns of the African knowledge. Like the Greeks, but the crazy thing is the Greeks even gave credit though, like to their teachers. But somehow that has been swept under the rug and hidden, you know, and that is because the Western world thrives off feeling superior to others that they learn from and steal from. So, of course, their school systems wouldn't add the historical truth into their curriculums. Like, they only tell the middle story. They only tell the middle, never the origins. They only tell the middle. Like in North America, black people are only come from slaves. It's the middle story, not the beginning. So, man, it's like you wonder why they strive to remove black history from their curriculums. Because the history is powerful, man. And as indigenous African people in the Western Hemisphere, we find ourselves praising the spawn and not the creators. But that's the product of brainwashing, right? We all need teachers, and the divine creator is the divine's universal consciousness is transported into us. And our job is to eject it into the world and share it with the rest of humanity, right? Like, The telepathic transference of consciousness is the goal, no matter the race or religion. But the truth is, it's the greater goal. Your favorite Greeks all studied in Egypt, man. Plato, he's the most famous Greek philosopher. He studied in Egypt for around 13 years, man. Like Hippocrates, the most famous Greek physician who studied medicine for Egypt in 7 years. But why is Hippocrates the modern father of medicine? Because this is based on the observation of clinical signs and rational conclusions, and does not rely on religious and magical beliefs. In other terms, he don't rely on herbal medicine like a shaman in the woods, like me right now. But the original father of medicine is Imhotep. He was a polymath, one of the first multifaceted people that walked this planet. It was the first time in history that medical teachings that weren't emanated by just mysticism or magic like prior teachings. So he had wisdom in anatomy. His medical treatments derived from plants and stuff like that. So, man, yeah. Pythagoras, he is a famous Greek mathematician, right? Where do you think the other Western father of mathematics got his geometry lessons from? What you think? Come on. He went to Egypt in the 6th century BCE. All of these Greeks and Italians, they all studied in Egypt because Egypt was the educational capital in the ancient world. All the Greeks did was copy what they saw in Egypt, and the Western world act like they were the original geniuses of these subjects. Greeks said all of the gods and goddesses had to return to Ethiopia once a year to renew their powers, or they would become mortal. Let's talk about stolen legacy right quick. Let's talk about the Hellenization. The Greek name, Egypt. The original archaic language name is Kemet. Habi. The Greek name is pyramids. The original African name in archaic language is Mir, M-E-R. The Greek name, the Great Sphinx, the Great Sphinx of Giza. The archaic name is Heru, M-Arket. Greek name, Thoth, which Chadwick Boseman played, and the gods of Egypt. Thoth, that's the Greek name. But the archaic African language is Jehudi, or Tahuti. And even the Greek name, when we say the phoenix, right? The rising phoenix, that's a popular thing. The rising phoenix, the phoenix rise from its ashes and stuff like that. But that is a story copied from the Egyptian bird Bennu. The European name God. The Kemetic name, Netjer, Netjer. You gotta know the roots. So here are some ways to decolonize your mind from the patriarchal society. Decolonize your mind right now from calling God just He. Calling God He is participating and adding value to the patriarchal society, believe it or not. And for those who don't know what the patriarchal society is, it is ways of the European Western world where they just hate women and do everything to remove the power of the feminine energy that creates balance in the universe. The divine feminine creates love and nurturing in the universe. The patriarchal society is the epitome of toxic masculinity and little dick energy, is what they say, right? So the patriarchal society killed and suppressed millions of women because of their spiritual powers, because of their connections to emotions and the spirit realm. And you want to know why it is still such a patriarchal society? Because of the Bible. The Bible literally promotes the superiority of men and the inferiority of women. Literally. In monotheistic Western religions, God is He. We say the man upstairs. Western religion literally it hates women. It removes the women off her divine pedestal, her purpose. Just look at the Holy Trinity. How do you create a Holy Trinity that represents the creation of something without masculine and feminine energy? The Holy Trinity is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, right? Doesn't it take the masculine and feminine energy to create a seed? So you just put the Holy Spirit instead of a woman? They hate women, man. In which that story is stolen from the original Holy Trinity from Egypt, like Kemet. The original Holy Trinity is Asar, which is Osiris, Auset, which is Isis, and Heru, which is Horus. But throughout this video, I'm going to use the Greek names like Isis, Osiris, and Horus, because those are the names you know. So the Holy Spirit aspect comes from the story of Osiris's death, where he was killed by his brother Seth, as he chopped them up into pieces and threw them into the Nile River, because Osiris accidentally slept with and impregnated his brother Seth's wife, right? Which is the twin of Osiris' wife, Isis. She's the twin of Isis. Her name is Nephthys. And he thought he was sleeping with his wife. So they had a baby from that accident, and that baby is Anubis. That's how Anubis was born. And, you know, the jackal, the half human, the half jackal dog head, that's Anubis. So one day, Isis, the Nephthys, and Anubis, I think, like, they went to go all look for the pieces of Osiris's body, and they found pieces of the body, except the penis. So with them pieces that she found, she conjured up those and used the spirit of Osiris to basically get her pregnant, which means the original Virgin Mary is Isis, because she had Horus without physical fornication with her husband Osiris. They steal everything. The Bible was not the beginning. It's plagiarism. It's the middle of shit. Like, people gotta realize that, man.